lastrights.net. Ryan scribbled furiously on the blank page, but his ink was bone dry. It was a brand new pen. Or it had been, the last time he'd managed to write anything. The deadline for Strange Realm magazine's Halloween horror contest was midnight. He reluctantly turned on his computer. The cursor blinked, insistent, like the stroke of a clock. Tick, 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 like a sharp fingernail tapping on the empty screen, waiting for words to process. Ryan slapped his keyboard. Blah, blah, blah. The word processor glared red, underlining his mistakes. The autocorrect quipped, "Did you mean bleach, bleach, bleach?" Ryan guiltily set his browser to incognito mode and went to lastrights.net. Last Rights is an advanced AI-powered ghostwriter guaranteed to shatter writer's block and provide solutions for all your content generation. He scrolled through the list of hype, natural language model, SEO optimization, state-of-the-art algorithm, etc., and set up an anonymous account. Ryan hammered through the endless terms of service without reading them, clicking boxes at random. The screen cleared, and a floating question appeared. What do you want to write about? Ryan giggled and entered the prompt. Scary story for Strange Realm magazine. Technically, this was against the contest rules, but the AI began to generate. Ryan watched in awe as the words flowed effortlessly. He'd forgotten what the act of creation looked like. Output. The old mansion had always stood at the end of the deserted town. Nobody dared to go because of the whispers of the grim history. It was a haunted house, and nobody went there. The group went into the haunted house. Ryan groaned. This was garbage. The AI had obviously chewed up a bunch of old ghost stories and spat out a wad of boring cliches. Prompt. Write something really scary and make it modern. The ghostwriter paused, buffering. Output. I laughed at the kid from school. We all did. He said a tall, skinny figure chased him in the woods. He said it left a stick under his pillow for the last 6 nights. The next day, he wasn't in school. We never saw him again. I forgot about it and went to bed. That's when I felt the first stick. Ryan was not impressed. It was modern, but it was also the same crap that tweens recycled online. What was it called? Spaghetti spooks? Copy pasta? Prompt. Write an original story. Search all available sources. Scary as possible. The ghostwriter paused, as if in deep concentration. Ryan waited for 2 minutes and then poked the ghostwriter. He clicked everywhere. Nothing worked. The session was frozen. Had his browser crashed, or did the whole Last Rights server go down? His laptop's hard drive spun with the rising line, pumping heat from the side vents. Ryan pounded Control-Alt-Delete. The task manager appeared as a wall of unknown processes, consuming power and memory. The hard drive shook with the sound of gnashing metal teeth. He unplugged it and ripped out the battery. The screen dimmed to black. Ryan waited for the heat to dissipate, held his breath, and turned his computer back on. It booted up fine. There was a notification from his calendar waiting. Midnight. He'd missed the deadline. He closed his laptop and retreated to the couch. Ryan's phone shook him awake. He squinted, thinking it was his alarm. It was a cascade of pings from his social media apps. For some reason, he couldn't sign into any of them. He Googled his username to see why so many people were tagging his account. According to the timeline, he had entered the contest last night, and his submission had been flagged by their AI detecting software. But Ryan hadn't sent anything. On top of that, one of the Strange Realms slush readers had decided to name and shame him. The backlash on social media had been swift and vicious. Ryan had never heard of any of his accusers, and frankly, he was shocked that they had heard of him. A sinkhole formed in his guts as he scrolled through the avalanche of haters. He'd been blocked by so many people that he could only get fragments of their frenzied conversations. Ryan tried changing his passwords, but nothing worked. Had he been kicked off the platforms? It looked like the online discourse had turned political. The stream of insults was spiraling into threats. He made a dummy account and logged in. He read his own posts for the first time. and felt nauseous. Someone had hacked into his accounts, struck back at the critics with a frothing torrent of hate speech. 20 minutes later, he got doxxed. His phone number, address, email, license plate, everything about him was circulating online. Ryan chucked his phone in the hamper, got dressed, and sped to work. The lady at the front desk said nothing, but her eyes went wide when he stepped off the elevator. A whisper raced through the office, sending heads popping up from cubicles like jack-in-the-boxes. His phone was already ringing. It continued non-stop, on every line, a barrage of random shrieking strangers and giggling teens. Even the fax machine was under assault from an endless army of trolls. HR showed up at his desk with a security guard and an empty cardboard box. Ryan pleaded with them, told them it would all blow over, that tomorrow someone else would be the main character of the internet. They escorted him out of the building. When Ryan woke up with a savage hangover, he saw, to his chagrin, that he was still the main character of the internet. He scrolled bleary-eyed through hundreds of memes. He stared at the one with his author photo pasted onto SpongeBob SquarePants. It wasn't funny. It didn't even make sense. Yet it had been shared, liked, and upvoted 2 million times. Another notification buzzed. His credit rating was plummeting. He silenced it and curled into a ball. He woke up in his car. He had to move before the tow trucks found him. If the car got pounded or repossessed, he'd have nowhere to live. He'd spent his last unemployment check. It was hard to stay gainfully employed when every business you entered received a bomb threat. Ryan could only work jobs that paid under the table, where nobody knew or cared who he was. His emaciated body ached from moving boxes, digging ditches. He hadn't had a pill in days, but his nerves had learned how to scream until he bought more. His car lurched to a stop. Ryan pumped the pedal and twisted his key in the ignition. The vehicle wheezed its last plume of oily smoke. Lights flashed in the rearview mirror. Not cops, the yellow strobes of a tow truck. He climbed out, fists clenched, determined not to lose his home. Ryan woke up in a cardboard box with a broken nose. Too weak for manual labor, too sick to compete with the multitude of unhoused people that plucked up every aluminum can and snatched every spare scrap of cardboard. A cockroach skittered up his torn pants. He crushed it into a sticky brown paste. The blotch blended with his filthy clothing, but his prickly legs were still twitching. He searched his nest of garbage for something to wipe it off. He found a flyer. He read it, wiped his crusty eyes, and read it again. Writers wanted. Must have experience. Apply now. He bathed in a downspout and rushed to the address. A bored woman with a clipboard showed him to a workstation where, if he passed a language skills assessment test, he could start working immediately. Ryan diagrammed a sentence, proofread some memos, and was good to go. His terminal beeped with his first assignment. Write an original story. Search all available sources. Scary as possible.